Just dying. Hello everyone, welcome back to Becca's Book Nook. Today I'm going to be talking about Heartstopper. So since about April 25th, I have been absolutely obsessed with everything Heartstopper. I did mention this in my last video. While I was in France and super sick with food poisoning, my friend Kaylee and I decided to throw on the Heartstopper Netflix show just to give it a go. So we watched the first 3 episodes and I absolutely fell in love with the story. I loved Charlie and Nick. I loved all the side characters and I really wanted to get into the story more and read the books so that I really knew the full experience and the full extent of the story. So during a 15-hour layover in Vienna, I read all 4 of these graphic novels, and let's just say my life changed for the better. Heartstopper is such an amazing, beautiful, and important series for today's generation. It is so incredibly inspiring and beautiful. I'm going to be using the word beautiful a lot. It's such an important story for members of the LGBTQ community to see themselves being represented in the media, as a lot of them do not get the proper representation that they deserve on the media. So this series is just so incredibly important for them to have, especially for bisexual characters. They do not often get represented properly in the media, in the grand scheme of the media. And I know that Nick has been a really important character for them since this show came out and since these graphic novels have came out. And it has been so widely received in such a positive light. So I do want to just film this video talking about the graphic novels, talking about how much I love them, and talking about what I think of the show. So that's basically what this whole video is. It's a Heartstopper video. So yeah, let's just get into it. There will probably be some spoilers for the graphic novels if you have not read them. Sorry if I look like actual crap. I am not feeling the best right now. I do have a little bit of a cold. But we're going to persevere. We're going to do it. And it's Wednesday, so I'm going to film a video regardless. So season 1 does deal with the first 2 graphic novels ending where the second one ends. So we're obviously praying we get a season 2 where we get to experience these 2. I fell in love with this series, as I said, by watching it first, but going back to read the graphic novels was just such an amazing experience because I got to see how everything was brought to life on the screen, and it is not often that I enjoy an adaptation as much as I did this one. So sorry, I'm getting away from myself. Let's talk about the graphic novels first. The first graphic novel, first of all, this cover art is absolutely stunning. The spines are gorgeous. I'm so excited to put these on my shelves back at my apartment. This first book, it ends with the kiss. So this one covers episodes 1 to 3 of the show. I fell in love with Charlie and Nick reading this book. Charlie is just the sweetest little muffin. He just has so much shit going on in his life that he does not deserve, and it's heartbreaking to see how negatively he's been affected after coming out. And it's very upsetting that for me to watch that, and for everyone to watch, I'm sure, the way he's treated and how people are still just so unaccepting of people in the LGBTQ community, and to see just everything that Charlie has been through since he's been out, and dealing with all the Ben shit is just awful that he had to go through. So when Nick comes in and sort of shows him that he could have it all better with him, it's heartbreaking. It's beautiful to see. This one ends on sort of a cliffhanger. It's very upsetting to see Charlie get what he wanted and then have Nick sort of run away from it because he was so confused and so scared about what he was feeling. And I know my friend Kaylee was bawling when we watched that episode, and I was very emotional as well. It's just so upsetting for Charlie to finally get what he wants, only to sort of realize in his head that Nick is also going to want to keep this a secret, just as Ben did. And it was so sad, but the whole story was beautiful. I loved seeing their relationship evolve. It was amazing and so important to see Nick struggling internally with how he was feeling. And I was so excited to get into the second one to see sort of how he evolved and figured his stuff out and how Charlie could help him do that. So moving on to my favorite book of the four, the second one. The second book was my absolute favorite. It's just amazing. All the good stuff happens. We get to see Nick and Charlie actually begin their relationship together and just see how happy Nick is to finally be able to sort of acknowledge this part of himself that he had sort of pushed down and hidden for the first little bit of his life. So that was really amazing. Obviously, we have it ending with the beach scene, and that is where the show ends, and with Nick telling his mom that he is bisexual and that he has realized that about himself. And I think the mom being so supportive is so important, and it's such a gorgeous scene. I definitely teared up reading it. It was just so emotional and just the most perfect way for a parent to act in that situation, and it was just so stunning. And we also got to see Charlie's birthday in this one, and just sort of them finally telling people about their relationship and seeing Nick and Charlie both become more comfortable around each other and around their friends, and being able to tell their friends that they're together. It was so beautiful to watch and just amazing. It's my favorite one. That's really all I have to say. I'll move on to the next one now. Volume 3 was another phenomenal story. We get to see the France trip, which was so exciting for me to read. Unfortunately, I was reading it in Vienna, so I'd already left France, which was a little upsetting, but there were definitely a few spots that I got to see them go to that I had been to. I got to see them at the Louvre when I had literally just been there. They were at a spot that I had literally just been to, so I'm praying for that season 2 so I get to see them at all the spots that I was in. It was so cool to see them in Shakespeare and Company because it was one of my favorite spots that I visited in Paris, and I literally cried in that store, so seeing them in there was really cool and exciting. This story was another phenomenal one. It did start to get that darker element to it where we get to hear a bit more about Charlie's eating disorder, and it's sort of just the beginning. So the next season, if there is one, is definitely going to take a darker turn, but it's so important to have these problems be addressed, and the themes that are involved are just very important that Alice included them, and it just has representation for literally everything and everyone in these graphic novels, and they're just so like I need to find another word, synonym for important, but that's just really all I want to say about it. It's crazy how she can put all this significant stuff into these graphic novels to make everyone feel as though they're heard and they're seen. And she does a phenomenal job of putting those in there and trying to help people with her descriptions, and the way that she has her characters help other characters is just, it's great to see, and hopefully it helps people that are reading these novels and going through these same situations. I'm sure it's helpful to them, which is why her work is so important, and this book is phenomenal. Those 3 books all got 5 stars for me. I love them. I love Volume 4 so much. It did get 4.5 stars for me. It just didn't quite get to that 5-star spot for me. And I don't want it to sound bad that I say it didn't get there because it was so dark, but I am one to get disturbed a little bit more, a little bit easier, and I wish that I didn't, because these are such important, there's such important topics to discuss. And this volume deals a lot with Charlie's depression and more with the eating disorder. It talks about self-harm, and he does go away to an institution to help him. Institution's probably the wrong word. He goes to a hospital and gets help and meets with a therapist, and it's wonderful to see him getting the help, and it's so amazing to see the people around him caring so much. And I did love to see it. I love to see the representation of all the mental health problems that people go through, and it was so important. But I unfortunately do get a little bit emotional and a little bit upset and just a tiny bit disturbed when hearing about those topics. So it did get a 4.5, still a phenomenal rating. I still was obsessed with it, but that 0.5 got taken off just because it did make me pretty upset when I was reading it. I've talked about my thoughts a little bit more on the graphic novels. I can discuss the Netflix show, which is, in one word, phenomenal. It was so interesting to see a graphic novel be adapted into a Netflix show because they can include literally every little thing that you see in the graphic novel in the show, which is how easy it should be with a book. But I guess with a graphic novel, there's a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say less going on, but it's shorter, I guess, and there's just more ways that you can include everything. I don't really know if what I'm saying is making sense, but it seemed like they did a phenomenal job of including literally every element into the show. They made Charlie's room look exactly the same. They made the uniforms look exactly the same. The casting is phenomenal. So exciting. I was so excited when I saw Charlie and Nick because I had seen pictures of them in the comics and they are literally their characters. It is phenomenal that they have an actual trans woman playing Elle. I think that's so important, and I don't know how they would have done it any other way, but they did a phenomenal job with that. The casting for everyone else was fantastic. Tao looks perfect. The only issue that I have with Tao, his hair is just a little, it's just a lot. I don't know, my friend and I were kind of, it's just intense. But I loved Nick's mom. She's a queen. Good job with the casting there. The coming out scene made me cry. Just all the actors are so amazing, and they did such a phenomenal job bringing this story to life. I was amazed. I definitely cried several times reading these and then watching it come to life on the screen. It was phenomenal. My favorite episode is probably the third one with the kiss. I loved seeing the party. I just love Nick's face when he sees Charlie. It's beautiful, and I love their kiss at the end was just spot on, perfect. Like everything about it, perfect. I do also love the last episode, but it makes me very sad. The 7th episode broke my heart. So upsetting. If you haven't watched the series, go watch the series. It's phenomenal. We're all hoping they get a season 2. I don't know why they wouldn't, because it's just been so amazingly received by the audiences. And like I said, this representation is so important to have on a big platform like Netflix. And I know that it's important for so many people to be able to see themselves in a Netflix show like this. So I don't know why they wouldn't get a season 2. I have already watched season 1 maybe 7 times, and I have no intention of stopping rewatching it because it just brings me joy. I'm finally at that spot where I am going to be able to read the comic as it comes out on Webtoon, which is like crazy exciting. I know Alice is on a mental health break right now, but when she does begin to update again, I'm going to be among the people that get to witness it come out every week or however often it comes out, which is so cool. I feel like a big fan. But the series has been really important to me so far as an ally. I love to see this representation. I love to see that people are so happy that they get to see themselves in this show on such a big platform. I think it is so important. That is the word of the video, important. If it doesn't get a season 2, I will have an outrage. And I think all of you guys should pick up these graphic novels and watch the show if you have not already. It is so worth it. It'll make your day. And it'll just put a smile on your face because it puts a smile on my face every time I talk about it. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts, and I hope I inspired you to either watch the show, read the books, or reread the books, or rewatch the show. I think I'm about to go do my 8th rewatch right now. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I post new videos every Wednesday that you do not want to miss. Thank you. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. I will see you next time. Bye.